Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Welcome, those of you all new to the channel. It's a great day here in August, or toward the end of August, and I just wanted to give a little update on our pastures. This is going on, I guess, 3.5 weeks, no rain, and mid-90s for the last couple of weeks. Just really hot temperatures. And anyway, this pasture we're looking at today was one that I clipped about when that, if you want to call it a mini drought, whatever, it's been, extremely dry. We've got cracks in the ground now, and you can kind of almost expect something like that to happen in Missouri in July and August. We got through July real well. We got a few rains, and August the spigot shut off. We haven't had a drop. But I wanted to show you, this is a pasture that I clipped, and I clipped it pretty high. And normally I probably wouldn't even have clipped it. This is a sheep pasture / cattle pasture. We had the cows in here, I don't know, probably 3 times this summer, spaced, 60, 70 days apart. But this area I'm standing in right here, you see all these little green plants coming up? Those are hickory trees. And most of those were around 2 feet tall when I mowed this. And this is a leased farm. This is a farm that I promised the landowner that we wouldn't let it go to brush. So this is what we've done. Every 2 years I come in here and I mow these. If you wait a 3rd year, some of these hickories get big enough you could get them with a brush hog, but you might want to get a chainsaw on some of them. We left a lot of trees in here. This is a big old autumn olive tree. That's an invasive species. I left that. The sheep love getting underneath or eating the leaves off of it. You'll see cows laying down underneath that in the summer. It's a really good shade tree. And there's the bottom, down in the bottom. It's really come back nice. But I didn't brush hog that area right in front of us down there. That's all big blue stem. When I come across big blue stem, I don't mow it. I go around it because I want that stuff to put out seed and get thicker. So it is, big blue stem is a warm season plant. And if you mow it off like you would a cool season plant, it's going to set it back pretty well. So go around those plants. Don't be brush hogging your big blue down if you don't have to. But all these plants came from this hickory tree. It's a big old hickory. It's on its last days. It's probably, heck, it may look like that 20 years from now. But it's an awful nice shade tree. It's a very picturesque tree. It's up here on top of the hill, overlooking the farm on this landowner. And when we leased this farm, it was all broom sedge. And the previous person that had it, they hayed it. They let people come in and just cut the hay off of it for free. And then he was a burn nut. He would burn it. The poor farm got hayed to death and it got burned to death every year. And pretty soon it just turned all cedars and broom sedge. We are getting ready to put down some lime on this farm. It's never been limed, for 20, I don't know when the last time it was limed. It's been a long time. But we're going to put about 3 tons on it, kind of bring the pH up. We're looking at pHs here in the low 5s, 5.2, 5.5. And we'll be able to grow better grass. It looks pretty good here, folks. I'm surprised how well this grass came back with no rain. If you look at the grass tips, now this is a fescue plant right here. See, it's got the tip on it. So these plants have grown back without any rain. That's the beautiful part about rotational grazing, leaving the animals on and getting them off. Leave them on continuously, you won't have a pasture that looks like this. You just won't. And in a drought situation, it's going to dry up on you. And there won't be any regrowth. So, we've got all these small, hickory trees. Here's one that the brush hog didn't get very well. You see it's still up there pretty good. It chewed it off, but it didn't kill it very well. And you won't kill them brush hogging them, but I'm not going to go out here and put a bunch of chemical to try and kill them. If I can keep them under control by just brush hogging and then letting the animals chew on some of them, You know, that's good enough for me. But you can see the litter that the brush hog left. You know, there it is, down in there. And we're going to be bringing the sheep through here in probably another month. And their little feet will just stomp all that stuff down into the ground. Here's where a deer was laying. You can see the deer bed there. We've got so many deer now. It's exciting. Especially when you have landowners that are deer hunters. That's real exciting. This is a pond that I built years ago. Let's see, about 18 years ago. And we run a wire around that, and we just let the sheep and the cattle drink around the edges of it. It has got a lot of cattails on it. And you know, I've had people say, oh, you need to spray those cattails. Folks, if you're not careful, you end up spraying everything on your whole farm and you're going to be dead. You kill everything. There's red-winged blackbirds that nest in there. There's fish swimming around those cattails. There's small fish that are your bait fish. They live in those cattails. You know, it's good fish cover. Yeah, it does provide food for muskrats, and people go, oh, it's the muskrats. They'll kill your pond. You got to kill them too. Gosh darn it, where does it stop? You know, pretty soon I just got tired of killing things, and I've learned to embrace things that nature gives me and go on. Because I promise you, 30 years from now, when I'm, you know, off of this farm or whatever, I'm not even grazing anymore or whatever, or the next person that comes onto this farm, there's going to be muskrats in there, and there's going to be cattails. You going to spend your whole life killing stuff and let it come back after you die? No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. And that's because I got these. Look at that. See that? It's hard to see in the sun, but see those little patches? Those are all spider webs. We've got so many spiders. What was really cool, Ben and Isaac picked up on the other day, we moved the cows. We were down in the Amazon forest of cockleburs the other night, and the cows disappeared in front of us into the burrs. And I could hear this noise. And we were close to the creek, and at first I thought it was the beaver dam down there, the water going over the beaver dam. And I told the boys, I said, what's that noise? And if you're real quiet and listen to it, it was just this hum. It was just humming of insects. Millions of them all across that cocklebur bottom, up on the hill where the cows had just come from. Insects, thousands of them. Thousands of them. It was just so much life around us. It was unbelievable. And of course that brings in all the other stuff too. These are some trees that can take over if you're not careful, so you got to kind of keep track of these as well. I try and keep some of these, and it's because they're excellent deer feed. It's persimmon. You can see the persimmons up there on the tree. Oh, here's some right here. Excellent deer feed. And some of these trees, when they get big, one tree might have 4,000 to 5,000 persimmons on them. And so we've got some persimmon groves in here now. Of course, they were planted by coons, coyotes, deer, whatever ate them and pooped out the seeds. Oh my goodness, look at this one. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some serious fruiting. Look at that. And yeah, they've got tame varieties of persimmon now. Folks, once you've had a wild persimmon, you'll throw a tame persimmon as far as you can throw it. These are so much sweeter. They just have so much better flavor, the wild ones do. The sweet ones are bigger, but they're just bland. Like biting into a unflavorful piece of fruit. These things have awesome flavor. But I'll give you a tip on persimmon, folks. Don't pick one off the tree. Make sure you get a really good hard frost and pick the ones up off the ground. Eat those. Don't be plucking them off that tree like an apple. Because you talk about an experience. You need to do it once in your lifetime. Just stick one in your mouth. Take a couple bites of it, but make sure you have a glass of water when you do it, or milk or something. Because I can't explain it. It's just a unique feeling. But you will never forget it. A green persimmon that's not quite ripe. Put it in there. It'll probably turn you off of persimmons the rest of your life. So I wouldn't do that. Make sure they're ripe. Pick them up off the ground. When they're on the ground, they're ripe. But I like what I see here, folks. We have got so much diversity in here. We got the Korean Lespedeza, we got the clovers, of course fescue, orchard grass, big blue stem, persimmon. Look at that persimmon grow. The sheep love that. Oh, and sheep love eating these things too. There won't be a persimmon left on the ground when you put them in there. They eat every one of them that fall on the ground. Of course, when the sheep aren't in there, they drop on the ground. You'll see deer, tremendous deer cover and food supply is these persimmon trees. So, you know, I'm not letting them take over the farm. I've just got groves of them. Boy, this is a beautiful farm. It's going to get a lot more beautiful too. We bring up the soil pH a little bit. You know, I'm kind of pushing the envelope a little bit here. We're going to see if we can jumpstart things a little bit more and just see what happens. It's just a great feeling though to see all this forage coming back courtesy of the wildlife, the sheep and the cattle, and you know it's all in symbiosis with each other. It's I don't know, it's a great feeling. You know, we don't have a lot of heavy machinery out here making this happen. It's all just natural. And I say the less overhead you have, the better chance you have of making a good living on the land. If you're heavily capitalized in metal and not live breathing animals, you're not going to make it. You just can't. And you know, I've seen people put anywhere from, you know, $10,000 to $500,000 in handling facilities. I mean, seriously, I've seen that. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but I've seen it. And they didn't have any livestock. They didn't have any livestock. They were going to get livestock, but they put in, you know, these huge handling facilities before they ever brought any animals on the farm. That doesn't make any sense. So when you don't have a lot of money to start with, put it in fence and water. You've got to be able to hold them on your farm. Fence and water, number one, and then of course livestock. Livestock. Get your livestock out there. And when they start producing babies for you on solely grass alone, folks, that is your unfair advantage. And please do not lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of that. That's how I was able to quit my job in town. That was in 2009. And I get to do what I want now every single day. And it wouldn't have happened if I had taken my eye off the ball and started buying all this fancy stuff that everybody said we needed. I focused on buying animals. And once we had a big herd of animals, or a, you know, large enough herd to support us, I went in and turned in my resignation. I quit. But that's a tough deal. I'm not telling you to go quit your job. Make sure that your farm income can support you before you quit that off-farm job. Because it's, you know, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself right at the very start, so don't do that. I'm going to sign off here, folks. We've got some sheep customers coming here in a little bit. We're wrapping up the weekend. We had a great group of folks come in from all over the United States. It was awesome. We met some neat people. Ben, he actually met a guy from New Jersey, came and got some rams, and as they got to talking, Ben actually rode on the rowing team against this guy in high school. And then this guy's girlfriend, she was an oar too in I think high school or college. Anyway, they knew that he actually knew each other. They knew each other kind of from their old rowing days, clear in New Jersey. Here we are in central Missouri. Small world. Anyway, I'm going to sign off here, and for those of you all new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out. I'd really appreciate it. And hit the like button too, and we'll see you all down the road.